Time now for part 3 of a marriage series by our Northeast Asia correspondent Wei Du. While in Japan, she looked at the falling rate of marriages there and its impact on society. Today, she learns how past gender imbalance in South Korea had resulted in many Korean men of marrying age being unable to find a wife at home. So they look to other countries, especially Vietnam, for partners. Here is her report.
The fishing village she grew up in didn't have the right climate for it, but now Pan Min-chin boasts she grows some of the world's best strawberries. The backbreaking work starts at 4 a.m. every day, but it's surely paid off.
It's so good.
Like thousands of Vietnamese women, Miss Pan married into South Korea to a husband more than 10 years her senior. It was a quick matchup. A marriage broker took him to Vietnam for a week, and by their third date, she's decided to take a leap of faith.
조금 더 하고 엄마 아빠를 좀 도와줄 수 있을 태국가라고 생각하고 한국 결혼하러 왔어요.
When Korean women started moving into the cities, the men in the countryside were left with no one to marry. So starting in the 90s, commercial marriage brokers took them abroad, sometimes with the help of the government. Today, close to 1 million foreign spouses live in Korea, with Vietnamese women being the largest group.
Many Korean men participate in the war, and they have experience with Vietnamese people and Vietnamese culture. And surprisingly, they return home with very favorable images of Vietnam. And also, I think there is certain commonalities in terms of culture. For example, Confucian tradition we share together.
Miss Pan's marriage has worked well. She has 2 children and has sent enough money back home to build a family house for her mother and brothers. But her success only came after a slew of high-profile tragedies that saw a number of foreign brides in South Korea abused, even murdered. Yu Si Huang has worked with many of these women in the local church. He says the problem was often a mismatch of expectations.
대개 그렇게 결혼 정보 회사에서 결혼해서 오는 남성은 우리나라에서 어떤 면의 조건이 좋지 않죠. 그러니까 나이가 아주 많다거나 불구자라든가.
So the government intervened. It now requires the men to have a minimum income and runs multicultural centers to help the families. But still, this village in Chongnam province has about 100 families, and 15 of them have women from abroad, most of them Vietnamese. But walking through the village, you wouldn't notice that. It's as if the foreign women simply melted away, leaving behind no visible marks. Experts say that's because the emphasis is still mostly on how the foreign spouses should fit in, not stand out, and that leaves them isolated and unable to ask for help when they are in trouble. The perception that being pure-blood Korean is superior also means children of these mixed marriages tend to face discrimination in school.
We have to teach Korean children that we are not special. Korean culture is not unique, but just one of the cultures around the world.
That lesson, which Korea took decades to learn, could now benefit more than one country. Korea's gender gap is already closing, so soon it won't need to look to the so-called marriage migrants. But neighboring China will still face a shortage of women for decades to come. Wei Du, Channel News Asia, Gwangju, Korea.